Well, we can't believe it's here, but it is. It's 2023, and we are on the cusp of the new fantasy football season. And as customary, Jesse and Graham coming to you with a little bit of a keeper prediction, draft prediction update. I'm video casting from beautiful downtown Towson, Maryland. Graham's down in some ho hum beach area of Florida. Graham, I'm sorry you got to deal with that, man. I'm sure you wish you could be in Towson.
Yeah, it was my second choice after Sarasota for sure. Um,
We were just
you know,
talking. Graham's got a new house. He's got a lake
yep,
behind him. He's got a screened-in
yep.
porch. He's living the life, dude. He's traveling to DC. He's working on his
Makers in
business.
hand.
He's chilling. He's talking about
Yep.
his in-laws place in Costa Rica, where we should have an in-person draft. We thought maybe 2035, 2040, somewhere around then, when we're in our late 60s and all the kids are gone and grown up. And maybe we should do it sooner. I don't know, Graham. I'd like to get down to Costa Rica.
Yeah, I think we should do it sooner. I think we should, take that 529 and say fuck it, pull money out and go to Costa Rica for a fantasy football draft. Bring the wives, bring the kids, bring the girlfriends, bring them all. You know,
I
it'd
like
be
that.
rent out 3 houses, 4 houses. And look, we could talk football all day because all of our wives would be with the kids. We could get help. Oh my god, it'd be great. The wives would have to cook, no cleaning. We could just be on golf carts talking football, and yeah, I think that's something to do. We should
That's awesome, man.
definitely
And
do it.
then in the off
Yep.
season, we could form a band, a Columbia Crew band, and we could all pick an instrument. We could just make an album, And then when fantasy football, we'll just play music, and we'll do fantasy football.
Yeah, we're just full circle right back to being high school all over again, right?
God, it sounds great. All right,
Yep.
so the plan for this evening, Graham, is we're going to go through keeper options, and we're going to predict which managers are going to keep what players. And I don't know if you have paper on hand, but I think it might be fun to write down as we go through all the managers' teams and who their options are. You and I will write down who we think they should pick, the two players we think they should pick. Then we're going to hold up our paper and see if you and I are on the same page.
Yep. That sounds good. I've got paper. I got pen. I'm ready to rock and roll here.
Okay.
Um,
All right. This will be
so
fun.
this
And
one,
if we pick the same players, you and I, that means it's probably pretty obvious who those managers should pick, right? I'm like, what players those managers should pick. Because if we're mind melding on it, then they probably maybe it's an easy selection.
yeah, I think so for sure.
I
Well,
will
you've already
say,
picked yours.
oh, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we'll talk. We'll do me first. Let's write down who you think I should pick because I do have a little bit of an option. I'll write down who I'm going to pick.
I think you
And
already
then,
picked yours down. It looks like. I think you said
well,
Justin
yeah,
Herbert and Jalen Waddle.
yeah. It seems like that would be the obvious one, and I think
I don't
that's
know who else you
probably
have.
how I should go. I do wonder if Olave is someone I should consider. He's higher, and then I could also just get crazy and be like, you know what? I like Dawson's value in round 19. The Commanders are like they got fresh blood. Who knows, man? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the obvious is you got to keep Herbert because he's a QB two.
Have to,
I
have
mean
to.
that's yeah. And Waddle at 9. I mean, if you look at if you look at maybe like the ringer, that's kind of where I get my go to with like the wide receivers. Waddle is what he's a QB or wide receiver 10. 19th overall pick. So yeah, I mean that's a steal. I think that's what you look at in these things is
Yeah.
what's the delta, right? The delta is, for you it's this guy's going 19th overall, where in ninth round for you is going to
Yeah.
be 90th pick, right? That's the easy one to pick up. You're not going to make value on that. If you steal him the 22nd pick, you haven't picked up anything. So that's an easy one. And
Okay.
look, but
Go ahead.
it's Tua, right? So it's Tua. If he gets hit, who knows?
All right. Let me say one last thing about my team because I think you're right. I think the smart move is for me to go Herbert and Waddle. It's relatively safe. It's good value. But just so I can fire up Lenny a little bit, since he dropped Brees Hall, and I picked him up, and carried him on my bench for 8 weeks. I could go Brees Hall in round 3. I don't think I'm going to do that because he's coming off injury. They say he's running great. He looks fine and all this stuff. He's making great progress, but it still feels like a risk to me in round 3. Not to mention, I traded my round 3 pick. And there's been some debate as to, I don't have a round 3 pick, and I would have to go, Brees Hall would have to either be slated in my round 2 slot or my round 4 slot, depending on how we decide to handle that this year. So I don't know, man. What do you think of Brees Hall?
I don't like guys a year after ACL. I like guys 2 years after ACL. Like that's what I like. It's just that second year, this is a big difference. So I think Brees Hall got something to prove. I think we'll see what Travis Etienne, even though it wasn't ACL, it was a Liz Frank, I think, with Etienne,
right,
or something else. But yeah, so I think and he's also RB14. I mean, like, is he better? If you take away, if he's RB14, that means he's right around Najee Harris, Kenneth Walker III, Travis Etienne, Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce. I don't know. Dameon Pierce is going to get all the carries in Houston. So, and then plus just the delta again from where you pick him to where you have him as your keeper. So that's what I think you have to stick with.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, so you've convinced me. Lenny, you can rest easy. I'm not going to take Brees Hall. We're not going to have to get an argument as to whether Brees is going to go in round 2 or round 4. He's going to go back into the pool. I'm probably going to go 98% likely with Herbert and Waddle. All right, let's look at Sarge's team.
Yeah, so I think
maybe we should write down our picks before we talk about it.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it right now. I'm gonna write it down first. I'll make a case. You make a case.
He's one of 3 managers to me, him, Lenny, and Eric Graham, that have a lot of options. Like if I was them, I'd be struggling with some of these decisions. I don't think this is easy. And so to me, there's one obvious one.
I mean, I think he's got a poo-poo platter, in my opinion.
Oh, you don't like it?
I don't like Sarge's picks at all. I look at all this and especially because they're all, they're all in 19th round, 17th round. Dak Prescott in the 4th, but I wouldn't take Dak where he is. Okay, I got my 2 picks.
Okay, let me write down my second guy because I know he's going to pick this guy because he's Sarge. These are my 2 that I think make a lot of sense. And hopefully this will show up all right on the screen. I've got Calvin Ridley and Kenneth Walker.
Am I looking at no what? Okay, hold on. Am I looking at the right thing? I might be looking at, what it is? No wonder I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this wrong. I think I'm looking at last year's. No wonder I was like, what are you looking at here? Hold on. Okay, yeah, I was looking at 2022 draft primer. Okay, Jesus. No wonder I was like, he's got a poo-poo platter. Okay. Now we're talking. All right. Let me redo this. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So now I see what you have. You had these picks for year 23. I didn't see all your picks. Last year you just said who you were picking. Okay. All right. This makes sense. Okay, yeah.
All right. So Sarge has he's got a lot to choose from. I think Godwin in round 3 would be too rich. It's too expensive to get Godwin there. The Bucs are going to struggle this year probably. But he's got Kenneth Walker in round 13. I know he loves Kenneth Walker III. He could go Cam Akers in the 4th. That's too rich. Cam came on strong at the end of last year, but the 4th round's too high. He could go TJ Hawkinson in round 8. That's a nice tight end value there. And he's got the option of Ramondre Stevenson in round 7. That's nice value because that dude played well last year. They lean on him a lot. He's got DeAndre Hopkins in round 7. Might be too rich. We don't know how he's going to do in Tennessee, new team. Is he going to be another kind of is that where receivers go to die? He could go Rachaad White with Tampa in round 20, but Rachaad White, kind of an average running back, we believe. I don't even know who Z White is. I think it was just some guy on his team I had to put down there. But Calvin Ridley in round 20, Calvin Ridley, I think is going to go off for the Jaguars this year with Herbert throwing into him. I mean, he's going to be primed and ready to go. I know he hasn't played in a while, but it's Calvin Ridley, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's healthy, which is great. The year off. Yeah, I picked. You look at this Ridley, and I look at Ridley and Stevenson. I think Ramondre Stevenson is the one to go over Kenneth Walker. I just think that it's a better situation
Yeah.
for Stevenson. But you gotta go with Ridley. I mean, Ridley is a 20th rounder. He could be a top 5 receiver, and that's what you look at. Like, 20th round, top 5 receiver. Like, you got to go there. That's an easy pick. I hopefully he doesn't do it. If you are watching this, Sarge, I definitely think you should keep DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to have a great year. He's 31, which is an awesome year for wide receivers because everyone knows 31, 3 plus 1 is 4. Wide receiver, W plus R beats making some shit up. You should definitely go DeAndre Hopkins. But yeah, Ridley for sure. And I think that Ramondre Stevenson for me. He also has a name. Sarge loves name guys. He loves guys and saying certain names. I think that he loves saying Ramondre, and I can see him saying that 1,000 times.
All right. So we know. All right, we at least agree that Sarge is going to go Calvin Ridley and a running back.
Yeah, for sure. Because Tua at 20, it's just like that. Tua will be dropped and picked up 20 times before. He might not even get drafted because I feel everyone will be scared about his concussion.
The thing about Kenneth Walker, the third, is also that the Seahawks drafted a running back in the second round this year. The guy that I really liked coming out of college. So he's not the sole guy there. There's going to be competition for carries, I think, in that backfield.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so cool. All right, so I'm going to write down Herbert and Waddle for me, Ridley and Ramondre for Sarge. All right, who do we got next? We got David Matrowski. Yep.
All right. Let me look. Oh, this is one easy pick here. I can look at this and be like, yeah, that's one guy for sure. That's an easy one. Oh yeah, I think I got it down. I got Ski. I know what he's thinking.
Okay. Yeah, this is a tough one, man. Wow. He's got gosh. All right. I'm going to write mine down. I'm going. Let me write down my other one. I think he may do this. All right. I wrote down Mark Andrews, Aaron Rodgers. Who'd you write?
Oh man, I've got Pacheco and Zay Jones.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Tell me why you like Zay Jones.
I mean, he's going to be in a that offense that Jacksonville has is going to just light shit up. I mean, another year. You've got Trevor Lawrence. You got the same head coach, the same offensive coordinator. They've got. We talked about they're going to have. Is it Calvin Ridley's there, right? Isn't Ridley in?
Yep.
And so he's going to have chances to catch that ball. They've got Travis at the end running. They've got an offense that's going to score points, in my opinion. And I think getting him in the 20th round is going to be a steal. And Pacheco, we saw what Pacheco can do. Like Pacheco is going to be.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have one of those seasons. You go like, holy shit! I mean, like. He's back in. He's with Kansas City, who's going to he's second year, right? So he's going to run the ball. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. That's what I think.
Okay, so my only pushback is that you're kind of sold me on Pacheco because he's a round 20 pick and he's the main focus of their running. He doesn't catch a lot of passes, surprisingly, even in Kansas City. At least we didn't see that last year. That could change, I guess. But that would be my only pushback. And to have one of those top 3 tight ends, even though it's round 3, is really nice to have. So I think Mark Andrews is going to be tempting for him. And the only thing I like about Aaron Rodgers is everything you hear out of Jets camp, everything you're hearing is that this is the year. They're Super Bowl bound. They got Garrett Wilson. They've revamped everything. Aaron Rodgers is happy. He's got something to prove. And he's, round 9's kind of a later pick. I don't know. As a fly, it might be like you remember when Brett Favre went to the Jets, that one
Oh
year,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he just lit it up. He took him like to the AFC Championship or something. Um, I don't know. It could be a resurgence. It could be like just a year of Aaron Rodgers. He's going to like he's going to Taylor Swift concerts. He's loving New York. He's happy again. I don't know.
But I guess the
Um,
question is, could you get him in round 9 anyway? Right. So
yeah,
the idea with round 9 is that like, well, if I really like him, we'll get him in round 8, right, round 7. But like, I'm not going to be able. You won't be able to pick up Pacheco in round 20. That guy's gone in the first 4
yeah,
rounds. Zay
it's true.
Jones gone first 5 rounds. So I think that's what you look at. Like, well, I can always get Aaron Jones, but you can't always get Pacheco. So that's what I think.
I will say that the four players that we've named, I think, are his four main options. The others are kind of
Sure.
throwaway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, no
All
one's
right, so
yeah,
why don't we
perfect.
do
Sure.
this? Why don't we just say that you're right, that he goes with value, pick value, and I'll put down Pacheco for Ski because I think Ski did like Pacheco. He got him from me in a trade last year, by the way. Um, and uh, and you said Zay Jones. Okay. All right.
All right, now off to me.
Okay, Graham. Now you know probably who you want to keep. I looked at your list earlier. I'll be honest with you. Your list is kind of like my list. It's not full of chunky, beautiful options like everybody else's. It's a little bit more streamlined. To me, let me just write down who I think you're going to pick. Okay. Um, you're going to go with definitely this guy. This guy's definitely going to be on your list. And the other one I'm not as sure about, but I'm going to write him down anyway.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Um,
So I'll be shocked if you don't take J.K. Dobbins this year as a keeper.
yeah, I've been riding him a long time, and I'm waiting for that to come around. So I think looking at my picks, he's it. But I do have to say that from a value standpoint, Miles Sanders in the 20th, right? I mean, Miles Sanders is gonna get some carries, right? He's gonna carry the
Yeah,
ball. Can I get J.K. Dobbins later, earlier, whatever it might be?
yeah.
Like if
And
I so
the question though is Miles Sanders is in Carolina now. Now they ran well last year. They had a
yeah,
good running attack last year. They have a decent offensive line. But there's a lot of change in Carolina. They're gonna have a rookie quarterback. They've revamped a lot of the offense. Like we're not sure what it's gonna look like.
no, for sure. I mean, absolutely. But it's one of those where I'm kind of like I think that I've got the poo-poo platter here, and depending upon where I draft, this is
Mhm.
the challenge. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when we're picking the draft order and when we're picking our keepers, right? Because if I know my draft order, if I'm picking 10th, I'm taking Stephon Diggs. If I'm picking first, I'm
Uh,
not keeping Stephon Diggs, right? So
right.
draft order is important. I'm not sure what happens first in the
Well,
rules
we're
here.
supposed we're supposed to uh give our picks in a week before the draft, and we're going to be
Yeah,
doing the draft Olympics to get draft order down about an hour
yeah,
before the draft starts.
yeah. So that for me, it's like the way that you think what happens first: free agency, free agency in the NFL, or the draft. If you do free agency, that determines who you draft. If you do
Right.
draft, that determines you get free agency. So in this case, I'm not going to take Stephon Diggs because if I get the first pick and I have to
Right.
waste that on Stephon Diggs, I'll be fucking mad.
Right.
Like the whole point of drafting of going to draft getting the first pick is so you can take somebody who gets injured that year. um,
That's pretty funny. Graham, that was funny. Um okay, so if you let's pretend that you're picking sixth. Are your keepers going to be J.K. Dobbins and one of these receivers, Burks or Pickens?
yeah, probably. I'm probably going Pickens. I mean, I think Pickens has the most upside of all these guys.
Okay.
I think that's what I would do. I mean, I like he seems like the man in Steeler country, and I hate picking a Steeler, but I'm going to take him anyway. And either Miles Sanders or Donta Foreman. I mean, I might just keep one of these guys and just use my keeper as a shitty keeper, but at least I get an extra running back that's going to be probably
Right.
playing late in the season.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
you're going running back receiver.
Yep.
All right. So let's look at Craig.
Ayuk, Richie James, Marquise Brown. Oh man, look at this. It's some easy picks here. This is easy.
Yeah, I mean, one of them stands out as an obvious one. Even better than my Hurts pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I just gave it away. Even better than my Herbert pick. Let's just say he's got to take Jalen Hurts in the 20th round.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just like
That's just obvious.
Yeah, easy. And and I think that I wrote down Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, 20th round. I mean, this guy is like,
he's a
Marquise
touchdown
Brown.
machine.
Yeah, and Brandon Ayuk in the 7th. I feel like you can get him in the 7th anyway, but you can't get Jamal Williams in the 7th. That's what I always look at. Like, who could you get instead? Right?
Yeah.
What's the delta? So, I think Craig's going Jalen Hurts, Jamal Williams.
I agree.
Okay, that means we got next up is, oh man, motherfucking Hambone, the champion,
Chris Hammond. So he can go Cincinnati. He's got Burrow as an option, although Burrow just blew out his calf today. I don't know how serious it is. I really hope it's not a torn Achilles. They haven't said that yet, but that would be a night. I would feel the NFL's better when he's healthy, so I really hope he's not that injured. But he's got Burrow and Chase in rounds 5 and 6, and then Kareem Hunt and Fournette aren't even on teams right now, but I put them down just in case they got signed somewhere. I think that Mostert would probably be his other option.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow and Chase. I mean, Jamar Chase and Burrow. I mean, wouldn't he take Jamar Chase in the 5th round? He's going to be a top 5 draft pick. I mean, he can't get Chase in the 3rd or 4th, right? So
Chase would normally go in the 1st round, and Burrow, I bet you, would go as high as the 2nd potentially.
Yeah. That's what I think he would go there. I think that's where he goes.
Okay, so we're gonna go Burrow and Chase.
Cincinnati. And plus that gives him one of those combos I think is really
can be really deadly. Yep. When they light it up together, those points just fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we got last place Miller. We go from first to last.
He went from last to first to last. Can he go back to first with all his picks?
Well, yeah, he's kind of like he's like Oklahoma City basketball, got more picks than slots. But let me see what he's got here to take. Oh, there's one. I think he's got this one to take. And oh yeah, this is easy.
All right, let me see if I can match you. I'm writing down what I think it is. I just saw a article saying Purdy was throwing with a lot of velocity.
Oh wow!
If he looks good all preseason, if he looks good in the next 3 weeks, that's going to be tempting for Miller because he's a short. He's a 20th round. He's a short little white dude that plays out west. I mean, it's like Miller's wet dream,
Yeah, no, he's probably got a poster of him on his van. So.
But then he could go Dameon Pierce again around 6, or Elijah Moore in 16, or Debo in 5. All right,
so he's got some good options here for sure. I mean, even Jared Jeudy at 4. I mean, Jeudy has had a underperforming, but he's in his 3rd or 4th year now. That's when wide receivers really start going, okay, let me fucking this has been fun, totally. But I'm ready.
And they've got their new coach. They've got their new quarterback. Garoppolo's, they say he's healthy now. They got who's the coach from the old Saints coach?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, the quarterback whisperer. He's got a great offense. So, and they're saying Judy's just ready to rock, man. He looks great. Um,
But is he a fourth
this
round
is tough.
Is he a fourth
He's
round
yeah,
pick?
it's too much of a gamble from fourth round. I wouldn't be shocked if I think Miller played it too fast and loose with his picks last year. He went hometown favorites. He's not going to make that mistake again. What I wrote down was London and Pierce.
Oh wow. Okay. I wrote down Pierce, but I went Debo and London.
Okay, so we each had London though.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good pick. I think London showed a lot. For him, he's a seventh round pick. I feel like he'll be gone by the seventh round if we don't get him then. And I think that Debo keeps that. He does what I think he wants to keep a hometown pick. So he'll get Debo, and I guarantee you he picks up Purdy some point in round 15, 16. Just he won't be able to help himself, you know?
I agree with you. The only thing I'll say if Miller's like on the fence is that the Texans have added like major offensive line help to support their rookie quarterback. I think their offensive line is going to be one of the strongest parts of their teams this year as they start to rebuild with their new coach and stuff. So I think Pierce could have another good season, but I'm going to write down what you think. London and Debo. And that's two solid receivers for Miller, plus all his bevy of picks in the beginning rounds.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And he'll have his fucking binder again, all the information and shit he's got. Yeah, he's gonna have a good year. Or a terrible year. We'll see.
The rookie running back for Atlanta, the guy that went like, I don't know, eighth pick overall or whatever
Oh
was his name.
yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked. Like if Miller's going two receivers as keepers, we'll talk about this in a second, but wouldn't be surprised if that guy goes in the middle of the first round and
Bijan
Miller picks him
Robinson.
up. Bijan
Yeah.
Robinson, exactly. Okay. All right, let's move on. Eric Graham.
Eric Graham. Let's look at this. Oh, I mean, I think I see where he's going.
Now he's got a lot of great choices too.
Yeah, he really does. He really. I'm ill envious of some of these picks here. Looking at my shit show of options.
I know. I'm with you.
Yeah.
If we're looking at late round value, one guy stands out to me here. Ooh. Oh man. Oh man, this is a tough choice. Because he could have Mahomes.
Yeah, and I think at the fourth round, you take Mahomes. I mean, like he's QB1. Everything revolves around him. In fourth round,
every week.
Every week. Yeah, and it's just like, if he doesn't take Mahomes, like it gives you an advantage every single. Like if Mahomes can give you 75 points whenever he wants, and that's a win. That's a win every time. So I think Mahomes. Now the one I don't know what you have with your second pick.
I have so if he's going to go early on Mahomes, or even if he went early on Devonta Smith, right? Those are like fairly early, or even if he went early on Amari Cooper, is supposed to have a really good year. He's going to want to balance that with a later round pick, I would think. And if he wanted to balance that out, I think you got to go with Watson in round 20. Christian Watson.
Oh yeah, interesting. Okay.
Green Bay. I mean, he had a great year last year, man. It's a new quarterback. Can love come through? I don't know, but Christian Watson in round 20 has got to be tempting. He's the number one receiver in Green Bay.
Yeah, I think that's right.
What were you thinking?
Right. I was thinking Jameson Williams, but or Jameson Williams, I guess. I was thinking Jameson, but I know didn't he get injured and then came back and then.
Yeah, now he's suspended for 6 weeks for I think it's a gambling violation. I think he's gone for 6 weeks.
Yeah, so that takes him off the board.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're right. I think you're right. I think that Christian Watson's the one to go 20th pick. So you go. So he gets first, second, third round pick, fourth keeper. He picks everything. Last round
Exactly.
is Watson. Yeah, that's easy for him to take.
Okay, so we're gonna go with EG got Mahomes and Watson.
Yeah,
And Devonta Smith is tempting because he's so talented, but I think you can get him around there anyway. I don't think there's a lot of value in that round. I mean, he might be a third round receiver or something, but
yeah,
um,
yeah. No, I
it's
agree.
not that much of a value. Okay, Rochi.
All right, so let's see the ad drop machine over here.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, I see where he's going to take this guy. I think this one, and oh man, he's got a shit platter too, doesn't he?
Yeah, his aren't. He's got a lot of selections, but they're not all great. Um,
Yeah,
huh.
I don't, I mean, I think this would be a first, and I have a, I have mine written down. Let me know what you think. So maybe, yeah.
All right, I'll show you mine.
Oh wow, okay, interesting. I got Algier and Justin Tucker,
Yeah, I put Justin
and
Tucker
but
down. He's the only kicker I put down on the keeper list because I was like, I mean, if he's going in round 10, I might as people pick him early.
yeah, and then I think that Schultz is 18. I think Schultz is the way to go. 18th round, that's the way to go. But it's Dan. I wouldn't be surprised if he took Tucker in a 10. Because like just looking at it, he's got a shit options. I mean, I just look at he's
Yeah,
got bad,
yeah.
you know. So this is where you have to be, think about what you're going to do with these picks. I don't know. I feel like it's a tough one. I think Schultz, but Tucker in 10 isn't bad. But like I said, it'd be a first ever keeper kicker.
I know. First ever kicker keeper. That might be a cool reason to do it if you don't have a lot of other options. What do you
Yeah,
think about Golf in the 20th, though? He had a good season last year.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just think that I wouldn't want to hold that roster spot for him. I'd rather just get another quarterback and use that 20th round for a rookie flyer for next year.
Okay.
That's what I'd look at. I would just, I don't think Goff's going to be a top. I mean, there's other quarterbacks to get, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he had one of his best, seasons last year, and yet in our league he finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He finished 10th in points. Um, and what's funny? You know who finished fourth in quarterback points last year? Tom Brady, dude. That's wild. The guy
Yeah,
was like 45 years old.
it's crazy.
Anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent.
Yeah,
All right, cool. So who do you want to put down for Roach?
I'm putting down. I think Algier. I think Algier is going to be the starting running back, even though they have Bijan Robinson. I feel like they're still going to. I feel like that. In my opinion, I think that the head coaches lean on guys they know and give the rookies time later as they see them practice. Right? They want to open the season with guys who know how to third down, pick up that blitzing linebacker. They know how to go in the flat. They don't want to see if Bijan Robinson is going to be the guy. So I think Algier is the pick
Okay.
because he'll get the starting points. I don't know. He's got a poo-poo platter
Yeah,
like
I
I do.
think that's
So
fair. And if anything happens to Bijan, Algier's the guy again. And he was a really good, surprisingly good rookie last year. So,
yeah,
and do you think he's going to go Schultz in the 18th, who's now a
yeah, I
tight
think
end for Houston?
I think that's a. I mean, he's a wide receiver or tight end 5. Um,
Okay.
I think that's not a bad. Again, when you're dealing with what he's got, I think that's what you take. Even though he's like tight end 12. I mean, who knows? A lot of guys ahead
All
of him.
right. Finally, Leonard Boyd. Now he
Yep.
had another one of those, bunch of options that I really found enticing. A lot of good players he can choose from here.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, he's got some. Yeah.
One of them is obvious to me.
Yeah. That's what you're talking about.
Um, Josh Jacobs is really disgruntled right now, man.
Yeah. Yep. I think I know what he's doing. I look at this and be like, there's two picks I think that are obvious. I mean, I love like Lamar Jackson at 4, but I feel like Lamar Jackson at 4 will be there anyway.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Who do you got?
All right.
Oh wow, interesting. I have Garrett Wilson, but I've got Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, you're right, dude. You're right, I think, because in the 12th round, I really think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback this year. He's got so many weapons.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
All
I think
right,
Trevor
you're right.
Lawrence. Yeah.
You're right.
Wilson.
Yeah, you're right. You don't even need to convince me. I think that's got to be the pick. I mean, Garrett Wilson has to be there. The guy's ascending. He's a hyper talent. He's got Aaron Rodgers throwing to him. It's the 17th round. I think you got to go there. Fields
Yeah.
in round 20 is interesting. I still don't trust Fields yet. He hasn't convinced me he's a thrower. He still plays for Chicago. I know he's got more from Carolina to throw to now. Lamar Jackson's. I'm still on the fence with Lamar in the 4th round. That's kind of high. I know they're supposed to throw more this year with their new offensive coordinator. I got to see it to believe it. I still think he sidearms things too much. I'm not convinced he's a pure passer. CeeDee Lamb in round 6 is kind of high. There's value there for sure because CeeDee Lamb's probably a 3rd round pick. And Lockett at 10 is interesting. It's worth a thought. Seattle drafted a new receiver this year in the 1st round, Jackson and Jigma Smith, who's supposed to like look amazing.
Yep.
Or Smith and Jigba, I think his name is. And he's from Ohio State, I think. So they got great receivers there. Geno's going to be an interesting like late round quarterback if you didn't want to pick early that you could consider. Anyway, but enough of me running on. I think Trevor Lawrence and Garrett Wilson is the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely yeah, I mean, I feel like CeeDee Lamb. Here's the thing: if you want CeeDee Lamb, you can get him in the 3rd round, right? But you can't get Trevor Lawrence in the 12th round, right?
Nah.
Trevor Lawrence is gone in the 12th round. So this is what I think about all this draft is like, okay, well, the guy, okay, sure, I want CeeDee Lamb, but I can get him, but I just can't get Trevor Lawrence in the 12th. You know, you can't get Garrett Wilson in the 17th. So you look at this, what's the value is the most important part, rather than like, you know, unless you really, really want a guy. Like I said, I would love to have Diggs if I was drafting 10th. I would take Diggs for sure because he'll be the 3rd or 4th wide receiver. But if I have to pick my keepers before I do the draft order, I'm not going to keep Diggs, right? Doesn't make any sense. So I pick first, I'm going to.
And quite frankly, I don't think if we do a little Olympics to get draft picks that you're going to finish in last place.
No, unless I do it on purpose.
You are so.
Oh, beer pong! Whoa! I can't believe that ball went all the way over there.
Yeah, it's valid. But really, would you want like is Diggs? I don't even know. Like, it's still a close call. Diggs in the 1st. It's a close call. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
you know,
maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't think that he's wide receiver. He is wide receiver number 7. He's actually behind CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I mean, he's, you know, but that means that I could potentially take Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown before I take Stephon Diggs. So
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
just
to recap, I'll just read back who everyone's picking for their keeper, so no one has to think about it anymore because we've just figured it all out. I'm going to go Herbert and Waddle. Sarge is going to go Ridley and Ramondre Stevenson because he likes to say Ramondre. Ski is going to go with Pacheco and Zay Jones.
Yeah.
Graham is going to go with Miles Sanders and Pickens, hoping that Pittsburgh starts to light it up. Craig's going to go with an obvious Jalen Hurts selection and Williams at running back to smash it into the end zone. By the way, I'm kind of blanking. Where is Williams even playing right now? Is he at the Saints? Because he left Detroit.
Yeah. Jamal Williams is with New Orleans. Yep.
Yep, he went to the Saints. Okay. And then Hammond's going to go Burrow and Chase, keep it in Cincinnati. Miller's going to go with Drake London and Debo. And Eric Graham's going to go with Mahomes and Watson. Roach is going to go Algier and Schultz. And maybe if he just wants to get crazy, he'll keep the first kicker as a keeper ever. But we'll say Algier and Schultz for now. And Lenny's going to go Trevor Lawrence and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Yep, that looks about right. Interesting stuff there. All right. Yeah, I think that's where he has to go. I think that's where I have to go that route, and we'll see. Everyone can just listen to us and not worry about using their brain at all. It'd be great.
Yeah, I do. I feel really good about our picks for everyone in terms of I feel like everyone's keepers that they end up selecting, we're going to get one of them right on everyone. It's that second one that might go either way. But like guys like, Garrett Wilson, that's a definite. Guys like Drake London, that's a definite. I think, Hurts in round 20 is a definite. Like we're going to get one of them right for each manager at least.
Yeah, no, I think for sure. I mean, I think the ones that look at like Jamal Williams for Craig, that would be something he looks at. Like, you know what? Fuck that guy. He's the 40th running back. I'll go somewhere else. Take a risk somewhere else. All right. We got Roach and Lenny. Okay, let's put together this little draft here.
All right, let's do a quick first and second round snake draft and see where everyone's going to go based on the keepers we selected for them.
Yeah, so that means we're going to go. I'm going to put a little list together here. Miller, G. Hammond after Miller. Craig after Hammond. Me after Craig. And then Ski. Sarge. Okay. All right. So let's see if I can share my screen here so you can see this. Boom, boom, boom. All right. See that?
Yep.
All right. So you, me. So Jesse, and then Sarge and Ski, then me, then Craig, Hambo, Miller, Eric, Roach, Lenny, then Lenny, Roach, Eric, all the way through. I don't think anyone has a second round pick out of all these. So I think it's a straight up draft without really, we can go into we could fill this thing out with who has what, but let's just have fun with it. Like we don't even know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. We're just going to kind of decide, like, based on their keepers, which position are they heading towards? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. All right. So let's see. Look at that here. I just had it up here. Where'd it go? There we go. All right. So you're on the clock. Number one pick.
All right. So if I have the number one pick and I already have my quarterback and I already have a receiver, I like Waddle. I'll be honest with you. I think he's a little bit overrated. A little bit. I think people are hyped on him, but I had him last year. I got a close look at him. If I really want to have a team that pushes deep, I want Justin Jefferson, and I want him because I want a solid, true number one. I don't want Waddle to be my solid, true number one. I need a superstar at receiver to win this league. I'm going Justin Jefferson.
All right. Well, looking at the ringer, they have him as number one. So yeah, that's a good pick there. Sarge has, I'm not picking for him. I've got Calvin Ridley and Ramondre Stevenson. So I've got a wide receiver. I've got a quarterback. I think at Sarge, I'm looking at McCaffrey.
Yep, I agree. I was going to say the same thing because now he's got He's got 2 running backs that can catch the ball, that are multi-use, that their team relies on heavily, and he's got Ridley, who's potentially a true number 1 this year. Potentially. We don't know yet, but could be.
But that's what McCaffrey is. I'm thinking he makes up for catches that if Ridley seems to fall. Right? That's how I look at this. Is that like
Yeah,
McCaffrey's gonna get
McCaffrey's
catches?
almost a receiver in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Ski Dog. Ski has Pacheco and Zay Jones, so he has running back, receiver.
I think he's going to want to go high receiver.
All right, what you got? This is receiver options. Looking at here at
Yeah, we know we can't go Jamar Chase because Hammond's keeping him, so that means we're looking at either Kupp or Tyreek Hill,
or AJ Brown. I mean, second year in Philly, year offense. Cooper Kupp's got a lot of miles on him last year. Tyreek Hill is.
I don't know. What do you think, man?
Your pick.
I think he's going Tyreek Hill.
All right.
You can't deny the explosivity.
Yeah, I mean, I think and look, for that position. So I've got Pickens and I've got Sanders. So I've got a shit show. I've got to have a good pick here, right? I've got to have a number one. Like I have a stud guy. So looking at this, if I'm looking at these picks, so these are my options. Yeah, I mean, I think I have to go with Eckler. I've got a good running back.
I think that's a good pick, and I'll tell you why. I think San Diego is underrated. I think their offense is going to go off. They drafted a really good receiver to add to their kind of aging receivers. I think their quarterback's going to have I think Herbert's really going to have a great year this year. I think they have a new offensive coordinator. I think they're ready to launch. I think they're actually going to challenge Kansas City for the throne of the AFC. I like Eckler, man. He does it all.
Well, yeah, and I was just looking at the options here. Cooper Kupp is that's a lot of catches, a lot of stuff over a couple of years. I just don't know if he can handle that again. That's a lot of damage. I think Eckler gets a little bit, because they have so many weapons, he can get some freedom.
I agree.
All right, you're on the clock, Craig. He's got Jamal Williams and Jalen Hurts. So he's got a quarterback, he's got a running back, but he would need a receiver here big time, right?
Yeah, I think so. And if I'm him, I mean, the one thing that is nice about Kupp is I don't know that there's a ton of other options there. And he has a mind meld with the quarterback who's healthy. And they're not rebuilding. They're trying to kind of do that kind of bridge rebuild. They're still fighting hard. They still have a great defense. I think he's going to go with Kupp. You can put him down for Kupp. I mean, he's a solid number 1 fantasy receiver. We can't deny it.
No, for sure.
He's in the top 10 for receivers.
Yeah, the only other, I think, looking at this is go back to AJ Brown. With AJ Brown, second year in Philly, second year with a quarterback, I think there's an option for him to go there. But you can't miss with Kupp. It's I think the upside. I think the ceiling is higher for AJ Brown, but I think the floor is higher for Kupp. So
yeah, I agree. I think Kupp's going to give you that kind of if he catches below 7 catches in a game, it'll be an off week. He's a PPR machine, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, so I'm picking for Hammond. So Hammond's got Burrow and Chase, Cincinnati. So easy pick is Joe Mixon, right? No, just kidding. Cincinnati. So if he's got a receiver and he's got a quarterback, he's got to be looking running back. I think that he would look at this. I think Hammond would look, okay, running back is okay. We've got McCaffrey gone, Eckler gone, Bijan. Do I want Saquon again? Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor. Do I want that? Or he was number 1 last year. Do I pick this guy up? Here. If I'm thinking, well, you know what? I've got Burrow and Chase, and I'm Hammond. I'm thinking I take Jonathan Taylor, right? I feel like he would look at that and be like, that's a good pick. Although I wouldn't be surprised, and this would be a Hammond move because I think he's like to take big chances. Kelsey.
Ooh.
He puts pressure on everyone else by saying, "Look, I got a wide receiver one, I got QB one, I got tight end one," knowing knowing that later, like he's only 8 picks away. He'll get one of these running backs in here,
Yep.
right? But he won't get Kelsey. That's what I think.
Okay. I
That's
like
me.
it. I think,
Me,
yeah, I like your thinking there. I think you're probably right. Which for me, if Miller's got London and Debo, I think he goes Bijan Robinson, because part of like the thing about our league is if you can capitalize on a superstar in their rookie year, well, I guess he wouldn't be able to keep him, would he? So it's not like he's a keeper option, but I don't know. Bijan Robinson behind that. Look how great Atlanta ran last year with Algier, who was like a 5th-round running back. This guy might light up the league this year.
yeah.
He's going to go running back. What are his other? I think he's going to go running back. He could go Barkley.
Miller has so many picks. Why not? Right? I mean, like, why not take a flyer first round? No, you can have all these picks in rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, whatever he's got.
Yep.
All right, so that puts Eric Graham on the clock. Eric Graham, we said, has Mahomes and Christian Watson. So he has a QB one and a wide receiver one. I think that looking at, he would want to go running back. I feel like he's going to think about running back first. In that case, I think he might be thinking Taylor or Barkley, right?
Yep.
And I think in this case, seeing what Saquon did last year, he's healthy again. I think he goes Saquon.
I agree. That would have been my pick for him.
And plus, all these guys that are here, he's the only guy you talk about first name. Everyone else, Jefferson, McCaffrey, Hill, Saquon, one name. All right, so Roach is up. He's got a kicker. No, he's got Algier and Schultz. So what do you got? He needs help. He needs a big time pick. So what do you got?
Yeah, he needs a big name. Is it my pick for him?
It's your pick. Yep.
All right. So you did not keep Diggs because you don't know where you're picking, and Diggs is still special, man. He's still a special number one receiver. I still like him in our format. I still like Diggs better than AJ Brown. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh man, it's a tough one. I think that AJ Brown's size is what I would take over Diggs. Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's your
Diggs
pick.
Diggs is a dog. They're both dogs.
Yeah.
AJ Brown's special. He really is. All right. Let's go. Let's just go with Diggs. I think he's just a PPR machine. I think he catches a lot. I think his quarterback really relies on him. AJ Brown, there's a lot of competition for touches.
And they're run heavy too. So this is where Lenny can be in back to back. He can say, you know what? If I'm Lenny, I'm thinking, well, you left me this opening. I'm taking it, which is AJ Brown.
Yep.
But then I think that if we do snake draft, we should just go back here. If we go snake draft, we're going to draft the same people. So why don't you take it now for Lenny? We switch it that way. I'll draft for you, you draft for me, and we'll go backwards here. So
so Lenny now has Trevor Lawrence. He's got Garrett Wilson. He's got AJ Brown. He's going to go running back on the turn, and he's going to go with probably Nick Chubb. Let me review the list and make sure I'm not. Yeah, I think Cleveland's going to have a much better offense this year. They've worked on their offensive line. I think he would prefer Chubb over Taylor. Chubb's vying for a contract right now. He wants to get paid. Running backs are frustrated, but I think Chubb's going to go all out. I think Taylor also, what worries me a little bit about him is I think he might be dealing with a little injury situation right now. So I think Chubb's the pick.
Yeah. Yeah, see right here, tough line back concerns about his health and offensive situation. Yeah, Chubb. All right, so Chubb it is. That puts Roach back on the clock. So Roach now, again, just to recap, Roach has Algier, Schultz. He's got Diggs. Running back would be the way to go. I think Josh Jacobs is probably the way he would think here. If you look at the wide receivers, the options, he could take.
Devontae Adams is still out there. That's
Adams.
Pretty nasty.
Yep. Yeah, and gosh, Olave. There's a lot of wide receivers. I think that I would still go running back here, and I think I would take Josh Jacobs or Jonathan Taylor. That's a tough one. I'm going. I'm going with Jacobs. I feel like that's where I would go with this.
Okay. He was amazing last year.
Yeah. He's an Alabama guy too. Alabama guys always they know how to play, right? They've got pedigree. So Eric Graham, just a reminder, Eric Graham drafted Saquon. He's got Christian Watson and Mahomes.
So Devontae Adams still on the board?
Devontae Adams still on the board.
All right, he's going Devontae Adams. You can't turn that down at this point because Devontae Adams could arguably be a late first-round receiver.
Yep. All right, so then Miller's up. Miller has Debo, Drake London, and Robinson. Yes, that's this is a tough one here. I wonder if in this case he looks at is there a quarterback that he would say, you know what, like I'm going to go one of these guys. Hurts is gone. Does he go Josh Allen and say, you know what? I've got Debo. I've got London. I have another running back. Do I just go ahead and draft or take this guy now?
I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think that's actually going to happen because he has so many picks that we're not really accounting for in this exercise that he's probably going to have a quarterback by the end of like round 2.
Yeah. So this is where I think Miller's because he has so many picks, he can be aggressive with Bijan and aggressive with Allen. And now he can pick up all these other guys that are going to be available because we don't have the pick, he has the pick, right? So I think that's going to be a big part here. All right, so Hammond, you're up for Hammond.
All right, so Hammond has Burrow, Chase. What running back did we give him?
We gave him Kelsey. Remember, Hammond went down to tight end. So he'd have to go a receiver or running back. So CeeDee Lamb, that's an option. Jonathan Taylor, he's still out there, right?
Let's go Jonathan Taylor. Let's assume that he's healthy by the season, and this is just a little nick. Then I think you got to go Taylor here if you want a solid running back.
Right. All right, so then Craig is up. Craig drafted Kupp. He's got Jalen Hurts and Jamal Williams. So he needs a running back. I feel like here he would go.
Yeah.
You just took Taylor. Gosh, does he go Pollard? Does he grab Pollard over Derrick Henry?
I think he does.
The big name in Henry. You think so? Okay. I think that's what I would do. I think Henry's too. No, I don't like that. All right, so you're picking for me. So pick well.
Okay. So Graham, your picks so far are Eckler and you kept Sanders and Pickens. I want a receiver for you. Let's start the kind of second tier receiver run, and let's go with. Let me think about this, Graham. I want you to have a nice receiver here. It's going to hurt me to say this.
Ross St. Brown.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I was going to say St. Brown, and then I saw T. Higgins, and I laughed. I was going to stick you with T. Higgins, so I didn't get stuck with him later. But I'll give you St. Brown.
Yeah, when you said it's going to hurt you, I think I knew who you were talking about. All right.
St. Brown is like a beautiful number two receiver. Like if you can have him
Yeah.
on your team, you have a classic one, and then you have St. Brown at two. You are set, bro.
Yep. No, for sure. So Ski, Pacheco, Zay Jones, and Tyreek Hill. Looking at this, so he's got the receiver in Hill. He's got the receiver in Zay Jones and running back in Pacheco. I think does he go receiver again? He kept two receivers last year. Is he looking at this and going, okay, well, all these guys are going. This name here, Olave, is who I'm taking. I think he's a second-year player. That's who I would go with.
Yeah, I was thinking Higgins or Olave, but I think Olave is probably the choice there.
All right. So now you're picking for Sarge.
All right. So Sarge has Ridley, Ramondre Stevenson, and McCaffrey, right?
Yep.
I think Sarge should get T. Higgins.
Fucking T. Higgins.
It's what my board's telling me, Graham.
That sounds right. And then for you, I'm picking for you. And we've got let's see here. Let's see. You've got Justin Herbert, Jalen Waddle, and you drafted Justin Jefferson. So it's got to be a J name in there somewhere. It's all J's for Jesse. So let's see. I'm looking at, you got receiver. All right. There we go. So you got receiver, you got quarterback, you got receiver. You got to go running back here. I'm looking at running backs who are available.
Can I throw a name out there just for you to consider?
Yep.
Breece Hall.
Yeah, I was looking at the guys. I was like, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Etienne, Breece Hall. I think Etienne is in a better situation. I think he's equal, but I think Breece Hall has a higher ceiling. So
there's something I like about the Jets this year, man. They just got a beautiful cloud over them. Like a happy cloud, not a dark cloud.
Yeah. All right, there you go. That's the draft right there. So
all right, good man.
Justin Jefferson, McCaffrey, Hill, Eckler, Kupp, Kelsey, Bijan, Saquon, Diggs, A.J. Brown. There we go. All right.
I like it, man. That's just a little taste of what might be coming down the pike in August.
Yeah, and the more we kind of get into this, the more we have fun with it, and the more we see injuries, the more we can do some fun draft scenarios. And the better I learn ChatGPT and how to make better spreadsheets, this whole exercise gets better, right? So
that's fun, man.
If I can put all these guys into a spreadsheet and draft, and they can go away, I think it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, that was a fun little hour of just playing around with the draft and thinking about things, and it kind of actually helps me prepare when I'm actually doing my ruminations about where things might go and who I might want and who I don't really want. Like doing this kind of stuff kind of helps me think about that,
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And hopefully the guys that watch this, it helps them think about what they're going to do too. Because I think that we really drafted and we went through their list, with thought, who we think they kind of gravitate towards, the kind of players that they like, with Ski liking guys whose names have really fun stuff, and Miller getting guys in the West Coast, and Roach liking kickers, right? So we've got I think we got everything in there for everybody.
It's good stuff, man. Well, this was fun, bro. It was a good hour, and we'll do it again. Maybe we'll think of something as we get a little bit closer, and maybe actually, I don't know. We'll think about what we can do. Let's do one more before the draft.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think we should do one where we do I think we should do one of going through the position players, and something that we could broadcast towards a larger audience, as we talked about. Hey, we're going to go through the top, the top, not even as the guy you should draft in the third round. One of those things. Everyone knows you draft in first round. We should be hey, you know what? Here are the best third round guys. I'll make a little podcast with that and put it out there and see what happens.
All right, we'll brainstorm offline. It sounds like fun, dude. And to
Yep.
all our homies out there that have sat through this long, we love you. We can't wait to see you next month, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right. See you guys.
See you, Graham.
See you, Jess.